Hello, hello there. Not sure who will be available at this ungodly hour, but, oh well, I'll see. So, even if I don't get a live audience, today is all about reading on the spot, basically. Oh, hi, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Reading on the spot, basically, today. So, I do have my little laptop set up here for backup, for a bit of source of information, but I am going to try and do an on-spot reading today. I did it the other day for myself, and it worked really well. I was able to sort of get the main idea from the cards without even looking at the already pre-concluded meanings of the cards, of the combinations, etc. So I'm going to try that today. So today we're revisiting, since it's about to go May, I thought we'd revisit the May forecast from MEWGULF's Astro Clocks that I shared with you. First of all, let me refresh you with that. So, for the month of May, you had Snake. Oh, by the way, these are my new magnet. This is my new magnet setup, if you were wondering. These are the cards I used to use, this new cards here. So, Snake, Bear, Whip for Mew, and Gulf had Man, Mice, Stars. Okay? So, for Mew, if you watched my Astro Clocks video, then you probably already know all this, but I'll just remind everybody. We'll skip the meanings of the combinations and I'll just read the summary. So, my prediction for next month was, let me just move this, I feel like I'm going to be too quiet if I don't. Mew will again be prone to manipulation or being deceived by someone who is controlling him or has power over him. There may be a lot of arguments and tension during this month. More lies will be created which cause him pain, and it could make someone more forceful and aggressive, possibly out of jealousy. So that's for Mew. And for Gulf going on, it's possible that Mew will reach out to Gulf in this month, which in turn will lessen the clarity Gulf may have thought he had about their relationship and possibly cause an onslaught of worry about what could happen in the future. Troubled but optimistic, which is what Mice and Stars means. Maybe even hopeful that they would finally be able to work together or be together again. So that was what I said for June. Now today, that was these cards here. Now today I'm going to elaborate on that. Now, I got the inspiration to do this from a lovely lady on YouTube. She does monthly, yearly, weekly readings for all signs. So she does it in a very broad manner. But I look at her readings and I see us all in there. Us all, meaning I see Mew, Gulf, Tul, me, myself, my husband. I see everybody in there with according to what sign they are. So very accurate. But the thing is, she's only reading broadly for signs. So she's obviously not going to tailor it to one particular person. So I thought, well, I know I'm not going to get the exact same cards as she did, because one, I'm doing it on a different day. Two, I have a different deck of cards. And three, I'm doing it for a specific person. So it all changes when that happens. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the same kind of reading as her, only it's not going to be about signs, it's going to be about people. So we're going to do it for Mew and Gulf. So I've got my trusty little deck here. Whoa, oh, that was interesting. The fox just showed up straight away. It's all right. I'll just shuffle these cards, and this is going to be a 9-box card reading, by the way. So I will shuffle the cards, I will pull them, and once they appear on here, I'll tell you what they are, and if possible, I will put them up here too. I sort of didn't think about this. Again, I didn't really think about how I was going to set this all up in order to show everything at once. It's really awkward. But perhaps as we do Muse first, if I have to pull these cards down, I will. We'll see how we go. Anyway, so yeah, let's start with Mew. So for May, he had Snake, Bear, Whip. Let's elaborate on what these cards mean, please, for the upcoming months of May. For example, who does Mew have to look out for? Who is the snake in Mew's life right now that could be manipulating him, that he has to watch out for? Or who is the overprotective bear? Or what does he need strength for? Or who will he have conflicts with? Or what will he have repeat in a cycle over and over again this month, basically. So yeah, let's see what these cards tell us today. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to shuffle these cards 8 times, the magic number, and then pull them. So what does May have in store for Mew Suppasit? What does the month of May have in store for Mew Suppasit? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8. Okay. Alright, let's see. Now you can't really see. Hang on a sec. You can't really see, can you? Alright. So 9-box cards. For the 9-box spread, the way we spread it, or the way I spread it, people do it differently. I go for the cross like this. Oh, hang on. Let me do that again. It's strange when you're explaining something to people. Anyway, I just did that the same way, so the cards are the same. So we go. First is in the middle, actually. Silly me. Then up, across, across. Then we fill in the corners like that. That's how I usually spread it out. So whatever order the cards are in when they're pulled out in that manner, that is what fate has in store. Also, for this reading, we haven't pre-picked any middle card, instigator card, so it's not going to be the man in the middle unless that is what fate has in store. So let's see, what have we got in the middle? Ready, everybody? This is live, remember? Oh my goodness! I just told you it wouldn't be on look. The man. How did that happen? Alright, anyway. Forget that. I guess everybody, you see now, see? I guess the cards knew that I wanted to talk about a particular person. Alright, anyway, let's go. So we have Tower. Oh, actually, I'm doing this the wrong way. The first cards we want to look at are the corner cards. I have to do this right. So let's see what the corner cards are first. So we have Scythe, oh, cutting something or someone out. Clover, a little bit of luck. Stork, can be progress. Good horizons, sorry. Good changes on the horizon, I should say. Or moving on. And Child. new beginnings, new project, new love, could be anything like that. Okay, interesting. So I've kind of already just, in what I've just said, given you the outline of those cards. It looks like in this month, Mew is going to be making some sharp decisions about his life. He's going to have a little bit of luck on his side. And yeah, he's going to be making some moves, some transformations towards something new. Interesting. Okay, so that's the basic idea. Yeah, I don't think I'll put it up here, guys. It's too time consuming to set it all up when I'm doing it live. So hopefully you guys can see this okay, can you? Can you see these cards? How can I set this up better, I wonder? Of course, you're in reverse. So this is on the left, actually. I really have to think about this in the future, how I'm going to show you guys things. Anyway, maybe in the future I'll have a more permanent setup thing I can go to now and then, because some of you already know I'm going to be moving. It's happening. It's happening. The time has run out for me to be moving. So anyway, let's get back to the cards. Alright, let's see what the cross is. So Tower, which we turned over before. Letter. Woman. Woman. Woman can be significant other if they have a feminine side, or it could be any woman in his life, so who knows. We'll elaborate on that later. And fish, of course. I don't think, at this point in time, I don't think it would be a spread about Mew unless there was fish, because money is a big focus right now. Anyway. Okay, so, wow. Alright, so let's, what do I do next? Let me gather myself for a minute. Okay, so let's go past, present, future. So in the past, we have scythe, fish, stork. Interesting. So in the past, and this doesn't have to be a long time ago, it could be past recently, or because we're doing the monthly reading, actually, hang on a sec, because we're doing the monthly reading, it would probably even be looked at as like the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, and the end of the month, actually. That's what the past, present, future would represent. So early next month, possibly, scythe, fish, stork. So Mew is going to be making some sharp decisions about money, or about what he values in life as well. That's what fish can mean as well. And he's going to be transitioning with the stork. He's going to be transitioning towards that. Alright, so let's move on to present then, or middle of the month, which is Tower, man, woman. Interesting. So Tower usually means authority, or it can mean isolation, loneliness. You might think of, with the Tower and isolation, you might think of the story of Rapunzel, for example. But it can also mean authority, like big institutions, big strong institutions, like the head of a company. In Mew's case, it could be the head of the entertainment industry or something like that. Somebody who's really, even though Mew is a freelancer, a free man, you might say, etc., there's still power. Someone still has power over him. And man and woman. Well, usually man and woman would be easily said to be a couple, but with Tower involved, interesting. Well, right now he's still doing the show, but I don't know if he'll still be in a contract with Pookluk by then, will he? Not sure. I don't think so. I don't think that would be what that refers to, because straight away, you know, work, Tower, I was thinking maybe this is a woman, but on the other hand, with many readings that I've got about MEWGULF, this has come up, this combination. So it's possible that the woman could be, as we always say, Gulf. It could be him as the divine feminine and Mew as the divine masculine, if they are twin flames. It depends. If they're not, and it's all platonic between them, then this woman could be Tul. Yeah, not likely, I don't think, but yeah, the woman is supposed to represent the significant other, but who knows. So something in the middle of the month will involve Mew with either a woman or Gulf or Tul or someone, and authority or very high power could be involved, or could be preventing. Probably more like preventing, I'd say, because that's what it's been in the past. It's always been preventing something, been the reason for nothing together, which gives me even more reason to think that this card could be representing Gulf. Alright, and then later on in the month we have Clover, Letter, Child. So towards the end of the month, or later in the month even, Mew will have a bit of luck with a letter. Could be a contract, could be an agreement of some kind, anything in written form, basically, any form of communication in written form. So that could really be anything. It could be work, it could be personal, and of course the child represents new beginnings most of the time. So yeah, something new starting. It could be, even just looking at this clover in the field kind of makes me think of a new seedling. Just the picture itself makes me think that for a second. So, you know, it could be a new beginning, a new agreement with someone about something. Could even be, if this is Gulf, it could be something towards him. Anyway, you see me pull these cards live. I can always go back, do my thorough research on the cards, and come back with anything we may have missed anyway. So when I get this video to YouTube, I can add all the extra stuff in then if necessary. For now, we'll just go with the on-the-spot meanings that I'm getting straight away. What I get straight away from the cards. What the cards are telling me straight away. Raw, right? Okay. So, we've done past, present, future, or early, mid, late month. Now let's go for weighing on his mind. So, weighing on his mind, we have Scythe, Tower, Clover. So definitely cutting something or someone out of his life, or making a sharp decision about something is taking a place in his mind right now. It's to do with authority, I would say, and luck. Authority and luck. sounds like, or opportunity as well. It sounds like Mew could be waiting for the right opportunity to make a cut, to make this move, make this sharp decision to cut somebody or something out of his life to do with the Tower. The Tower could be his work. The Tower could simply be referring to people who have him under their control right now, which could be anyone. It could even be business. It could be about, you know, all the business matters that he's involved with right now. A few people have started talking about how with the 520 Chinese Love Day coming up in May, how he's really advertised that, like almost gives the vibe of begging for gifts and money. Excuse me. I don't think so, to be honest. I think more than likely it's probably going to turn into a couple focus thing, you know, but you know, that's just my opinion. But it has made people start talking about the fact that Mew may not be a full co-owner of these businesses that he has got himself involved in. For the most part, he's the one who does all the promoting, isn't he? I mean, let's be real here. The One Skin Lab, the One Skin Clinic, all the stuff. He's been the center of attention for getting people's attention to do that business. And even the fact that they had reviews up for that clinic before it's even officially open really makes you wonder, like, who's behind all this? I can't see Mew doing such a dishonest thing. I'm not saying it's Tul either, but, you know, who is doing this? Because I've mentioned it in past lives that it's not just Mew and Tul involved. In every single business that they are involved in right now, there are at least 2 other people with their names on the contract of the business. I've seen the contracts. I saw it, well, I don't know if you call them contracts, but I saw business papers that somebody sent me before they officially announced it all. I don't know how they got them, and I won't say anything, but I saw them. I saw the names. And Mew and Tul were there with 2 other people who happened to be Tul's friends. So yeah, who knows how much Mew really is able to say, like, these are his businesses, you know what I mean? So people are wondering about it, about how financially stable he really is, especially if all this, what we're saying, is true, and Mew is going to, you know, walk away. Is he okay to walk away? You know, is he going to be financially okay if he walks away, if he chooses his heart over his money, for example? Anyway, so there's that. So yeah, it could be that he's looking for an opportunity. He's looking for the right time. He's waiting for, even, you could say, divine timing to make this sharp decision, or to cut someone out of his life, or something out of his life. It could even be us, you know. I'm just going to put it out there. It could even be us. He could be waiting for the exact right opportunity to put his foot down, come out in the social media and say, enough is enough. You people need to stop cursing my current love life and get out of here, or something like that. It could be, right? Got to be honest here. It could be, but I don't see that. For me personally, I don't see that happening. Because as well with this woman down here, this woman certainly doesn't represent us. So if this woman represents Gulf indeed, then it definitely is about fate, about waiting for the right opportunity. It could even be about waiting for the right opportunity to be able to work with Gulf again. Even if you look at Mew and Gulf in a platonic sense, it could be him waiting for the right opportunity to be able to work with Gulf again. So there's a lot of possibilities. okay, currently happening, or the reality of what's happening next month. Well, this is very straightforward. Fish, man, letter. To me, that means that next month, no matter how much he may want this opportunity and want to start making moves and sharp decisions, money and contract or business agreements are still presently happening. So that will be what's focused. Could be even why the the 520 love, Chinese love day is so big. You know, so it has been advertised as like the main event of next month. That could be why. It could be all about the money, all about bringing in the money and business. So it could be about attracting business, attracting new customers, attracting new followers in this case. Could be all about that. And then lastly we have down here, well not lastly, but down here, things that are already happening. Hidden influences, we call them. So things that are already happening that Mew doesn't even have to like think about. They're just happening anyway. So we have stork, woman, child. Straight off the cuff, to me, this could mean that without him even making an effort, he is starting to transform. He's starting to move on. He's starting to move on from what he thought he would be he would be doing. Sorry guys, you have to mind my coughing. I'm not sick or anything, but it's possible that this moldy place, because it's got mold on the ceilings and the owner has never done anything about it. It's possible after 10 plus years that it could be affecting me a little bit. So I'm happy to get out of here soon. Anyway, yeah, so he could be moving on already, you know, emotionally he could be moving on. The woman, as I said, if this is Gulf, then having the woman after the stork means moving towards. So he could be making moves towards the woman, which could be Gulf, to new beginnings, or new projects, or a new start. So it actually looks really, really hopeful here, because usually the hidden influence cards in Mew's readings are, you know, things like the fish and the agreement. It's already happening and nothing can be done about it. But in this case, it looks like Mew is already, at least emotionally, moving towards this woman card, which I'm going to say it's Gulf. I think it's definitely Gulf. Because if it were Tul, why would he need to make a new start? He's already with Tul, supposedly. So I definitely think it's Gulf, and I think it could be platonic. It could be platonic. It could be all about moving towards Gulf, towards having work again, having the opportunity to work with Gulf again. It could be something like that. Or if they are twin flames, it could be the long-awaited reunion for them. And it could be Mew starting to, you know, really get himself ready to approach Gulf in that manner. Right, so that was for Mew. Oh, right, knighting cards. We haven't knighted cards yet. So let's start with this one. I like to go in a clockwise sort of way, so we'll start with this one. So the woman and the scythe. Woman and scythe. Now that usually means that this woman has a sharp tongue.
or it could be in this case, it could even be about making a sharp decision about a woman, actually. You know, going away from the general meanings, we're looking at this as the individual reading for Mew. So in Mew's case, I think it actually could mean something more like that. Making the decision, making a sharp decision about this woman in his life, or possibly Gulf. And then we have Clover, woman Clover this way, which, as I said, looking for a luck and opportunity with this woman. Then we'll go from here. So Fish and Clover, looking for... No, this is in the past, so this could be just up to this point, he has been really lucky. He has had a small bit of luck on his side when it comes to the money matter at the moment. Could be that. And then this way we have Fish and Child. So it could even be that he had to go through this and have the money to be able to do this new project, or to have the new start with this woman card, which is possibly Gulf. So that takes us back to the belief of us all that Mew was doing all this to stabilize himself financially so that he can be stable when he returns to Gulf, or when they reunite. The way Mild used to say, they were separating in order to work towards having a life and family together one day, something like that. Crazy to think that when what's going on with Tul presently, I know, but, you know, who knows the real story behind that? It just really doesn't seem like it's as innocent as the world thinks it is. Anyway, so Tower Stalk. Interesting. Tower Stalk. So this could be moving away from the business. Remember what I said earlier about the business? When Mew decides to walk away, he could be walking away from the business as well, or could be he's just going to move away from the business. It could be something like that. Or it could also, because this card can also mean lonely, it could also mean that when he makes his move towards this woman figure, which could be Gulf, he may be a bit lonely because he'll have to... I'm sure he won't do it before he's cleared things up with Tul, you know. Like Mew used to say, one heart, one love, right? He wouldn't be a player. He wouldn't be doing both at once, supposedly. So I'm sure he would walk away first from something or someone before he moved on. Oh, goodness. And then we have Tower and Child, which can also, again, lead to the idea that perhaps Mew and Gulf will have a new start under the guise of business. Perhaps they will work together again before anything else. Doesn't mean nothing else will happen, but it could be that they will work together again first. And what have we got left? Letter. So, letter and scythe. Now, letter and scythe could be cutting an agreement, cutting a contract, could be even cancelling an engagement, guys. Could be this. So, again, it all plays into everything. It all fits together like a puzzle, it really does. But there are still, the picture's not, you can't see the picture of the puzzle straight away, because there's still many possibilities of what that picture is. But the pieces fit together nonetheless. So, yeah, scythe and letter could very well be cutting the engagement, or it could be, like I said, leaving the businesses. So in order to leave the business, he would have to end the contract or the agreement, business agreement. So that also plays into what I just said. And then, yeah, so we have letter and stalk, which is moving on. So something is going to end, some agreement, some written agreement of some kind is going to end, and he's going to move on. He's going to move towards this woman card, which most likely is Gulf. But it could be platonic, guys. Just keep that in mind. All right. Because even if it is platonic, from what we've been seeing and what the cards even say about Mew and Tul, I don't think Mew would be able to work with Gulf if he stays with him somehow. I think even despite the fact that Tul got to do a fan meeting with Max while they were supposedly dating, I don't think it would go the other way. Everything I've seen in cards, everything I've seen in person from clips and things that I've seen, it doesn't look good for them. It just looks like there's going to be a sharp ending at some point, and you know, there'll probably be a reasonable explanation in the media, like, oh, we tried and it just didn't work out in the end, like it was all different when he was overseas, but then living together, you know, something like that. Could be, because let's face it, it started as a long distance relationship when they started dating, if they started dating even, so, you know, yeah. Max is straight. Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's not the point. That's absolutely not the point. Because whether you're straight or not, he still had to perform with Tul, didn't he? And people will argue with you that Gulf is straight too, so, you know, and who really knows? Who really knows? Because despite that Max has had girlfriends in the past, he could be bi, or he could be something else. Who knows? Who are we to say what their sexuality really is? You don't fall in love with a gender, you fall in love with a person. So the fact that he could be straight doesn't matter. Anyway. No, I didn't say Tul dated Max. I was saying they did a fan meeting together when Mew and Tul were supposedly already dating. That's what I said, or meant. Okay, so we've done all the knighting, so that's it. So that's Mew's reading. Okay, so I will take these cards up, we'll give the cards a shuffle, and then we will do the Gulf. So, we've been shown a bit more detail of what's in store for Mew this month, and supposedly it involves Gulf. So what's in store for Gulf this month? His Astro Clock gave us Man, Mice and Star, which actually coincidentally made us think that Mew was going to reach out to Gulf this month. So interesting that we had those moving towards a woman card in his reading as well. We figured that the man is Mew, that he is a troubled, anxious man, because of what is happening up here, being deceived, overpowered, conflict, etc. Reaches out to Gulf and then triggers Gulf to start worrying about his future, start thinking about his dreams, and possibly have hope again for either working or being with Mew from now on. So that was what we got in a nutshell from the Astro Clock reading. So let's elaborate on that. So what is in store this month for Gulf? Is this man indeed Mew? Is he going to approach him? What's in store for Gulf this month? Please tell us. Alright, start doing the count. 1, 2, 3. What's in store for Gulf this month? 4, 5, 6, 7, and one more. 8. Alright. So same way as I did for Mew. Center card, cross, and then fill in the corners. Okay? You guys can still see? Yep. Alright. Okay, so again, starting with the 4 corners to get the frame idea of what's going on, the overall picture, we have whip, stars, scythe, and book. Okay. So, whip, interesting, because Mew had whip. Perhaps when Mew reaches out to Gulf, they have a conflict, then, possibly. Maybe. Interesting. Or if it's not about conflict, it could be repetitive patterns, or repeating something. So it could even be like going back to all the good feelings that he had with Mew when Mew approaches him, perhaps. Now, anyway, so whip, stars. Stars is about dreaming, hope, wishing, manifesting. So definitely there is something Gulf hopes will happen. Then we have scythe. Interesting. Mew had scythe. Now Gulf has scythe as well. So it could either be making sharp decisions, like I said, or it could be cutting something or someone out of his life. Interesting that they both had that. I don't get the vibes that they would be cutting each other out, though. I don't. But of course, like I said, if Mew was in that scenario of going to put his foot down about us, then I suppose Gulf would have to do the same, right? But yeah, somehow I don't think so. I don't think that's what that's about. Especially because the next card, book, which usually this means secrets. This means secrets, this means the unknown, this means something not yet revealed, hidden knowledge, things like that. So I would think if they were really going to cut it off with each other and us, there wouldn't be any more secrets, which could actually mean, these two together could actually mean stopping the secrets. It could even be a revealing. So interesting. Let's have a look at the other cards now to see a bit more about what these cards could mean. Let's go center first. What's in the center? Oh, interesting. So the center card for Gulf is the Stork, which means transformation, better days on the horizon, or moving on, depends. Interesting. So Mew had that card, remember? And that was going to be his next move. Anyway, let's see what the other cards are. Tree, snake, child, man. Wow, okay. Interesting. So, man comes up. Because man isn't in the center, I would say this man is definitely not Gulf. I would say this man is somebody. Could be Mew. I mean, if the woman in Mew's reading was Gulf, then the man in Gulf's reading would probably be Mew, right? So, yes. Let's see. So, at the beginning of the month we have Whip, Man, Scythe. Sort of very similar, isn't it? Very similar to what I said about Mew's reading. Remember when I was holding up the scythe and the woman? A sharp decision about a woman, sharp decision about a man. Could even be cutting them off, but I don't get that vibe. I really don't. To me, it's more like having to make a decision. Having to make a decision that involves this man, or in Mew's case, this woman. So interesting. And then, let's say in the middle of the month, we have, whoops, let me just grab that. We have Tree, Stalk, Child. Now tree, for Waanjai I think straight away we all think grow as we go, right? Well, yes, grow as we go is definitely something this tree can mean, but it can also mean long lasting. It can mean rooted, very, very strong, everlasting growth. It can also mean family, ancestry, etc. So, tree, stalk, child. Child, Mew had child. Child could be new beginning, new project, something. So, making a sharp decision about a man, being strong about it, being stable and set in our ways, like with roots, for something to last, a lifetime, a long time, moving towards a new start. So, yeah, that could also point to what we were talking about with Mew's reading. Possibly a new start, a new project together with Mew. It could be that when Mew approaches Gulf, possibly this month, it is about, it could be about a new job. It could be about getting together for a job. Could be. And then he has to think about it, he has to make a sharp decision about it, so does Mew. It could even be, like I said, when they do get together, they may have a bit of conflict between them for whatever reason. So it could be that too. But with the cards following, it looks like it will still happen. This tree could represent how strong Gulf feels their connection is, that, it can endure whatever possible conflict they might be having, if that's what it is. It could also be that they will endure whatever decisions have to be made by Mew or him in order to do this cutting, this necessary cleansing in their lives, and move on towards this new start, which obviously involves both of them because they both have it in this case. And then for the possibly later in the month, or towards the end of the month, we have stars, snake, book. Now this is where it can get a little bit dicey. This can get a little bit dicey. So stars to me means that Gulf will really have hope. He will really manifest that things will work out for him and Mew, whether it be in a business sense, getting together for a job, or something else. He's really going to be, holding on to those dreams that he has about the matter. But there's going to be a snake around. There's going to be someone or even something that could manipulate him, that could deceive him about it all. I don't want to think it's Mew, but it is in line. It is in line with Mew. In fact, no. Moving on to when we go horizontally. So the snake is in line with the card that could be Mew, yes. But in between them is the stork. So it could even be referring to Mew moving on from something that is a snake. So it could be that. But in Gulf's case, then it would just be that, obviously, if Mew has to move on from something on behalf of him, then he will be a target for this snake as well, whatever it is, or whoever it is. And of course, the last card is book. So again, secrets, unknown knowledge, hidden knowledge, things yet to be revealed, etc. So with the snake and the book there, it makes me think of some past readings from other people that were saying somebody has power over Gulf, who knows all the secrets, knows all about what's, really happening, and could, just like that, cause a lot of trouble. It makes me think of that. Yeah. So, I think isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting, guys? I didn't even look up. He got stars in this reading, and stars is there. So definitely resonates with it all. Mice is about taking away. So we said he was going to be anxious and worried about his future, but still hoping and manifesting. So troubled yet hopeful, troubled yet optimistic. So he could be troubled because of this snake. Whatever it is, whoever it is, whatever's going to happen, this could be what troubles him. And because the man is in line with it all, also agrees with this man suddenly coming into his life, possibly again, or if it's not Mew, then just somebody suddenly comes into his life who brings along a lot of baggage, so to speak. But I really think it's Mew. I think it's Mew. I think along with the happy reunion that they may have, there's a snake. Don't know who or what, and I'm not going to elaborate on that, but it's possibly going to cause conflict. And I would say that both Mew and Gulf really need to cut this snake out of their life, whatever it is, whether it be work-related, personal-related, or whatever. There's definitely something there with this book card, which is also secrets, right? Yes, you're right. Mew is controlled and not himself anymore. It really does show. I agree with you totally there. I mean, even though he can still put on that happy smile, and he obviously has genuine moments when he's in front of his fans, like he did at the clinic the other day, you can also tell when he has no expression on his face. He goes into that just sad look. That sad look. It's not the kind of look you would have if you really were in the happiest place in your life. A lot of people are saying it looks like depression. A lot of people are saying it could be him teetering on the edge of falling into burnout again. Yeah, it just, I mean, even his appearance, like, what's going on with his hairdresser lately? Like, do they even think that looks attractive? It was the worst at that clinic. He looked like it was bed hair. It looked like he had just got out of bed, put his clothes on, and come and jumped in front of the camera, for goodness sake. It was crazy. And how they can think that looks attractive? I mean, yes, I get it. Mew's an attractive man, and he can look attractive any which way, but, you know, it's far from the little effort he used to put into his appearance in the past, which he doesn't have to put much, but he's certainly not putting much at all now. His hair not grown enough. Even if his hair hasn't grown enough, I mean, there's things you can do. I mean, the hairdresser should know. I mean, you know, if worst case scenario, you can gel it down to hold it down, if that's the case, or, you know, or bedhead vibe is attractive to people. Well, the only people it would be attractive to is those fetish shippers who think that he's possibly, you know, this tired because of some other kind of overwhelming action happening in his life, but I don't think so. Many people have told me, like, if that were the case, he would be glowing, he would be happy. It just wouldn't, he wouldn't look tired, exhausted, he wouldn't have these bags under his eyes, he wouldn't have almost these red eyes looking like they're about to cry at times. He just wouldn't have that look. Anyway, it's certainly not attractive to me anyway, but you know, I'm not a fashionista, so yeah. Alright, so we've done early, mid and late month. Now we'll go horizontally. So weighing on his mind, weighing on Gulf's mind, we have whip, tree, stars. So yes, again, this conflict card could mean that, like I said, when Mew does approach Gulf, maybe it's not all roses. Maybe there are some things brought up that, you know, bring a bit of beef between them, possibly. But it looks like Mew believes in their connection more than anything else. You know, he believes that they are strong, grow as we go, forever love even this card could represent. And he is going to continue hoping, wishing and manifesting for things to work out between him and Mew, whether it be in a platonic manner or something else. So that's, yeah, I think that's a pretty good explanation of what's on Gulf's mind at the moment. Or should I say when, after Mew approaches him, that is what is going to be on his mind. He's going to probably, first and foremost, the conflict, whatever they have, will be on his mind. Or if it's not conflict, the idea of repeating the past could be on his mind as well. But beyond all that, he's going to see hope, he's going to be optimistic, and he's going to believe in fate, destiny. He's going to believe in the fact that him and Mew are meant to be in each other's lives, no matter how or which form that is. Like, it could be friends, could be platonic, or it could be, like we keep saying, or like I personally believe, soulmates and twin flames. It could be. So, I mean, even if it's friends, it could be soulmates still, guys. It could be. Twin flames, on the other hand, twin flames is more going into the lovers category. But soulmates can be friends, soulmates can be siblings, soulmates can be any two people, really. So, yeah. Very interesting. And then we have what's actually happening. So here we go. The man, stork, and the snake. So what is currently happening in reality? Well, it actually looks hopeful too, because like I said earlier, it looks like if this man is Mew, Mew is already moving towards, away. Mew is already moving away from the snake. Although when the stork is after, it usually means towards. Hang on a sec. Alright, so if I was going to tell you guys, like, completely, you know, non-biased about this, what it could mean, this could mean that Mew is going to approach Gulf about doing a job, but he may not have the best intentions about it. It could just be another way of getting money. If he really is in need of money right now, like the 520 thing seems to suggest for some people, it could be that he thinks, well, the fastest way he could get money right now is by reuniting with Gulf. Could be. So he moves towards Gulf, but in a bit of a snakish way, like deceiving way. Possibly. I don't think so, but, you know, I'm going to cover all the possibilities here. Whether that happens or not, though, guys, the cards that follow in the following months and whatever has been in other readings show that even if this is maybe the first thought on Mew's mind, it's not everything and you know, the end of it all. There is genuine love between him and Mew, between him and Gulf, whether it be platonic or otherwise. So it's not like he's using Gulf coldly or something like that. It could just be that he knows the benefits that he could get if he reunites with Gulf in public. Could be something like that. Or if we move away from the deception and what's the other word? Deceiving. Sorry, no, that's the same. Deception. What's the other word? Oh, well, you know what I guys mean. You know what I mean. So, if we move away from that, there is also a positive meaning for the snake, which can mean shedding skin. It can mean ambition, or if you look at it in a more like literal way, it can mean like the windy road to something, like, you know, a lot of curves and turns towards your destination. So it could even be that Mew is moving towards Gulf, but not in a very direct manner. It could be a very indirect with all these twists and turns involved. It could even be something like that. So if you want to think more positive, then think that. It could be Mew moving towards Gulf in an indirect manner. It could be that, which agrees with everything else. The other thing I said really doesn't agree with the rest of the cards. You know, I was just like, I felt like I had to cover all the meanings there. But if Mew was a snake, I don't think there would be this chance for Mew start, new love, etc. I don't think there would be this very strong connection that seems to be beyond just what Gulf thinks, but is actually, you know, written in the stars, as we seem to be witnessing every day with all their connections. Yeah, so I think it's probably more that. It's probably that Mew is moving towards Gulf, but it's in a very indirect manner right now, because he's got a lot of twists and turns. Or it could even be, like I said, shedding skin. It could be that he's moving towards Gulf, but he has to shed the skin of the situation he's in right now first. It could be something like that. Anyway, then we move on to hidden influences. So, interesting. So hidden influences in this case, we have Scythe, Child, Book. Hidden influences. So yes, something cutting something or someone out of his life. Child, this is new beginnings, new opportunities. This makes me think of work. This makes me think it's possible that for them to really be together, they may have to give up some opportunities in their career, etc. That's what it makes me think. And then, of course, book. Book can also be learning. So yeah, it could be something like hidden influences for having these things on his mind. And what's happening could be Gulf is seriously thinking about cutting something or someone out of his life, which is going to result in a new start. And possibly learn some new things. This could be work related. In fact, it could be about, you know, going into a new project and learning, like he had to for the Japan one. Could be something like that. If you want to put it back to Mew, though, because I can see already that when I start knighting the cards, man and book is one of the matches. So to me that kind of means the book is about Mew, or about this man. So it could be, yeah, it could be that he has to cut. Let's just say it boldly. He may have to stop working or cut off some agreement with someone or something work-wise in order to have this new start with Mew and open a new chapter, let's say, with this book. Open a new chapter with Mew. Maybe. Because he wouldn't have to do it, if it wasn't to do with Mew, he wouldn't have to. He's already been, you know, living his life to the full, work-wise. And he could keep doing that even. So, yeah, for this new start, if he has to cut something out for this new start, probably something to do with the person or the thing that is keeping him from being able to talk and communicate with Mew in a more open manner in public, I would say. If there is really someone or something so, you know, hierarchy that is controlling them, the whole situation, like people think. Okay. So, yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Now let's do the knighting. So child whip. This is like, it could be like new habits are born, come to fruition, or it could be the start of a new cycle, because this card, whip and broom, represents cycles. So it could be the start of a new cycle. Or yeah, it could be new conflicts. Like I said, they may have a bit of beef between them when they meet up, as well as good feelings. Then we go child, stars. New hopes, dreams, and wishes are born. So, you know, like old ones come back, new ones will come up too. Then man, stars. Well, again, the man card is connected with this, so it must be about the man, right? So he's having new hopes, dreams, and wishes, and manifesting a new start with this man, which we think is new, but let's just go away from that for a second, because, you know, I want to be completely transparent with you all. So let's like, I'm not fixing anything, in other words. Let's say this card is someone else. Let's say, just for example, because everybody thinks, you know, that there is a possibility that this other man in Gulf's life could be the real thing. Let's say this man is Smith. Okay, just for a minute, guys, just for a minute. Let's say this man is Smith. In that case, it could be Smith who he is, you know, going to stop things with, possibly. Or it could be Smith he has a conflict with as well. But really the interesting part was the snake, right? With the stork and the snake in the line of the reality of what's happening. Yeah, if that was Smith. Well, the same thing I said about Mew, but it's a whole different story when it's Smith, isn't it? If Smith were the one who was deceiving Gulf, then yeah, that's a whole different story. Or if Smith was the one who has to approach him in an indirect manner, I would be asking why. Or if he has to shed his old skin, that too. Why? It doesn't fit, guys. I try to make it fit with others possibilities for you guys, but it just doesn't fit. It seems to only fit as a puzzle when cards like this are connected with Mew and Gulf, or Tul. Sometimes it fits perfectly for Tul as well. It depends, but in this case, I really do think this card is Mew. So, and also because this man also connects with the book, as I said earlier. So definitely it's somebody he has secrets with, or possibly has hidden knowledge about, or somebody he can learn from even. So most of those categories fit Mew as well. An interesting thing too, this lady that I was watching in the readings for the signs, in Gulf's one for Scorpio, she mentioned the card Lily came up, which the Lily card can mean maturity, and in this case it meant like a relationship with an older person. So yeah, that also fits Mew, but it doesn't fit Smith. So yeah, there's that as well. And what's interesting is I'm Scorpio, and it fits me too. So, you know. Anyway. So where was I? Oh, the man, right. So let's do now, we go tree, Tree scythe. Tree scythe. That's interesting. That could be... First thing I think of course, when I see tree and scythe is cutting the tree down. But I don't think that's what's being said here. Because of what the card represents, like I said, it can represent family. So this could go back to some of the past readings we've had about the possibility that not everybody is agreeable with Gulf being with Mew in any form, and he may have to make a decision about family, possibly. Or if we look at this card as meaning growth, it could mean that his growth is cut. This could go back to, let's say, if he decides to cut his career short, if he decides to, choose love over fame and wealth, then that could also indicate it like that, as in he's going to cut his growth with his career. Or if it does mean indeed cutting the tree, then it could mean that both Mew and Gulf, when Mew approaches Gulf, it could be about cutting ties. Could be about cutting this everlasting love, strong bond, trying. It could be about trying, because the thing is, if it really is meant to be, you can't. No matter how hard you try, you're not going to be able to cut ties. So it could be about trying to, like trying for the better good, trying to cut ties perhaps in a more formal manner, like trying to do it with the public, etc. But it probably won't work still. Even if they pretend that, it's all good, it could be, ongoing suffering, things like that. Anyway, let's not go into that. Yeah, that's an interesting combination that I don't think I have either. I don't think I've had tree and scythe before, because I've never had to think like that before, so my swords wouldn't help me right now. Let's move on. So tree and book. Again, tree and book. Book means secrets or learning, and tree means growth, everlasting love, strong in roots, family, ancestry, etc. So tree and book. It could be that the secret continues to grow because it's not revealed. Or it could be that this connection that Mew and Gulf may have, this reunion, this Mew approaching Gulf, could remain a secret. So it could be more like the tree keeps growing with more secrets, something like that even. Anyway, guys, like I said, I can probably go through all this off camera and like get the real deep meaning of these readings for you guys, write it all up and add it to the YouTube video in the end. But this is what I'm getting straight off. So, what are we doing next? Snake. This is interesting. So the snake card. The snake card is connected with the whip and the scythe. So remember what we said about cutting this snake out of their lives? It seems really like that. And the whip as well. Possible conflict or repeated patterns. Actually, that makes me think of something too. In past readings, particularly with the ones on Twitter, they've been all about telling us that Mew has wanted to keep a connection with Gulf going the way he has with the secret coding and everything, but that Gulf sort of had enough for a while there, and that he's being very cautious about returning to that pattern that they were in for a long time. This could be about that. This could be about this indirect communication that MEWGULF have that's repetitive. It could be about stopping that. It could be about stopping the indirect communication and you know, being more forthcoming, being more straightforward, and possibly revealing the secrets by coming out in public again. This also adds to like what I was saying further on, because this is only 1 month, guys. This is a lot in 1 month, but if you remember, the months following this month, the predictions for the astro clock was talking about a possible new job or new trip or new journey. And one of the months, I can't remember if it was June or July, excuse me, I can't remember if it was June or July, but one of them was talking about a new start online, on social media. So it could even be, as I said, the indirect manner of communication that MEWGULF have had could end. The windy road of communication that MEWGULF have had could end, and they could be a bit more direct and possibly reunite in public and start talking to each other again in public, on social media, at events, etc. So it could be that even. Okay, so that's it. We've done all the knightings. So there you go, guys. That's an on-the-spot, raw idea of what I am getting from the cards for Mew and Gulf's astro clocks for the month of May. Okay, there you have it. So now, if you want me to do more, I can get the tarot out and we can ask a few questions, or even just ask where they are right now regarding each other, like we always do. I know somebody really wants me to ask about Mew and Tul, but, you know, from what I've seen recently, it doesn't look good between them. It definitely looks like they are really just keeping up appearances, focusing on the business. There's certainly no real sign of affection between them when they're out. I mean, in the last video I saw, they weren't even making eye contact. It was, you know, it felt really cold, actually. Felt really cold. And you know, that could even just be because of the state Mew's in, because it really isn't right. Whether there's real love between those two or not, the mental state Mew is in right now is not right. So, okay, so let's get the tarot out. Also, we might use the new oracle cards today. If I'm going to do about the other couple, I definitely will use the other oracle cards. So you really want me to ask about the other couple? Let me have a look at some of these comments now.
Yes, if like I said, Mew was approaching for the wrong reasons, absolutely, that's not right. But I went back on that, didn't I? That was like, I told you guys, this is raw reading, so everything that's in my mind comes out, and I tell you to be transparent with you guys. But in the end, the better explanation for that combination of man, stork, snake was that it could just be the indirect manner of communication, and it made more sense as we went along with all the other cards surrounding it. It didn't make sense with the cards surrounding it for it to be that case, Arissa, so I wouldn't even give that any more thought. I don't think Mew has it in him to be like that. I honestly don't. You know, I've been sharing a lot of my life on the IG stories lately. There's a few reasons for that. One is I thought if I do that while I can't give you guys readings, at least I'm showing you I'm still alive. I'm still well. I'm still great. I'm not depressed or anything. Second, because a lot of people, you know, haters, let's say, I don't call them my fans, I call them haters, think that I don't have a life. I was like, well, okay, you think I sit around doing nothing? Well, here you go. Here's what I've been up to lately. Here's my life. Here's how busy I've been. So there's that. All right. So, interesting. Devil card. Hang on. Are they all... No, they're not. They're not all in reverse. You know what, guys? I'm just going to take a minute to make sure these are all in the right direction. I think they are. I'm not looking at the cards themselves. I'm just looking at the word upright. That's how I do it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Seems to be. Why did I think it wasn't? Hang on a sec. Oh, that one isn't. That one isn't. Yeah, okay. All good. Alrighty. Alright, now. Okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Arissa. It may not have come up. It was just a fleeting thought in my mind that I happened to say out loud. Because I don't favour, well, I do favour personally, but when I do the reading, I don't favour any outcome. I have to look at all possibilities, all scenarios, and like really, as I said, like put all the pieces together to see what the full picture seems to hint towards.
Because, like I said, I showed you, didn't I? When I tried to go a different way, the cards just didn't seem to fit. The cards didn't seem to fit, no matter how hard I tried. So that's how you kind of eliminate what cards can possibly mean along the way. Because it just won't fit. Yeah, there are times that you have a lot of possibilities left, like you're left with a lot of questions instead of a lot of answers, but most of the time there will be a overall theme that kind of gives away what it's not related to. Now, what are we even asking here? I'm started to shuffle. Right, I didn't get an answer from you guys. Did you really want to know about the other couple right now? You want me to see how they are doing right this minute? If what we're seeing, with Mew's state and the possible cold vibe between them, totally business focused, is anything real? You guys want to know about that? Or would you rather just stick to seeing what is happening with our couple? Wait. Guys, I was already talking about it and the card has fallen, so you know what? I'll take that. Okay. So, yeah, we were talking about it just in general, weren't we? It wasn't about how Mew was feeling or Tul was feeling. It was just about what was happening between them. So the card that fell out was Knight of Swords. And interesting, before I go any further, interesting for the yes, no, maybe system, this card is a big yes. And it's a very strong air card, which Aquarius is air, and also Tul's Western sign, Libra, is air. So it's about them, I think. And what were you saying? Is there really a cold vibe going on between them? Is there really a cold vibe going on between them? Is what we're seeing really how it is? And, well, the card says yes. Yes. As for the meaning, Knight of Swords, it came out upright. Sorry, guys. God, I hate this cough. I can't wait to get out of here to see if it really is the mold. The upright meaning is ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast-thinking, defending beliefs. So if we go back to what I was just saying, there seems to be a cold vibe between them, like trouble in paradise. Mew seems to be having a hard time with his emotional state, and they seem to be business focused or business driven. Well, this says ambitious, action oriented, driven to succeed, fast thinking, and defending beliefs. So yeah, and like I said, with the yes, no, maybe system, it was also a big yes. Hang on. Let's ask for some clarification on that card, since I hadn't really asked the question officially. let's just say, so this Knight of Swords, what's this Knight of Swords about in relation to how Mew is feeling about Tul? What is this Knight of Swords about? What is this Knight of Swords about, please? Some more clarification. Oh my goodness, that's way too many cards, sorry. What is this Knight of Swords about in regards to how Mew is feeling about Tul? Are they having some trouble? Are the cracks becoming bigger? Is Mew really falling into a depressive state? Or going into burnout? What's going on? What's this Knight of Swords about? What was it saying yes to? Alright, I'm going to start counting. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay. The card that came out was Judgment in Reverse. Judgment in Reverse, which the yes, no, maybe system is maybe. Judgment in Reverse. Self-doubt, lack of self-awareness, inner critic, self-loathing, punishment, destruction, ignoring the call. Interesting, interesting. So, together with the Knight of Swords, driven to succeed, business-oriented, sorry, action-oriented, but, you know, business is action right now. Defending beliefs, that could be about Mew thinking that Tul was the one, so he's defending his belief in that, which connected with, excuse me, connected with this Judgment in Reverse, ignoring the call. Ignoring the call, like, ignoring red flags, things like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. And let's pull one more card. One more card. So Mew could be. Sorry, guys. Mew could be suffering this depressive state because he has self-doubt, lack of self-awareness. He's got an inner war going on, inner critic, self-loathing. He could be really hating himself for the decisions he's made. Punishment, he could be punishing himself. Distraction, ignoring the call. Yeah, okay. So is Mew indeed not in a good state of mind right now? Well, that came out fast. Excuse me, guys, sorry. Okay, so the one that flipped over on me there, this Page of Cups reversed, which means emotional immaturity, insecurity, disappointment, new ideas, and creative blocks. Well, in a depressive state because of emotional immaturity, insecurity, could be insecure with his decisions. Disappointment, could be disappointed about how things have turned out. You know, he thought he had it all with Tul, and then now he's starting to see the real picture. New ideas, could be that he's starting to think about all the what ifs, as new ideas, or creative blocks. It could be the opposite. It could be that he's got a creative block right now. He really can't. I remember in his live the other day with Davika, he said he's losing his motivation to work since he came out of ordination. So creative blocks, that could be a big one. It could be that he's losing his passion for work, and he's got a creative block right now, and that is making him into that sort of depressive state that we seem to be seeing lately. Between the lines, you know, between the moments, the happy moments that he has in front of the camera. Okay, so let's get some Lenormand clarifiers for these 3 cards as well, just to get a bit more info. So this started as a thing about Mew and Tul, but it's become about Mew, hasn't it? So the idea was that there probably is some beef between them right now. That cold vibe that people who are not blinded by the rose-colored glasses factor are seeing is really there, and it seems to be something very personal for Mew. You know, self-loathing or punishment or ignoring the call. And then, yes, like we said, creative blocks, or possibly insecure and disappointed with what's going on in his life right now. So let's get some clarifiers. We'll get 1 for each card. So please tell us in Lenormand language what this Knight of Swords is about, please. So this is about the beef between them possibility. Not being as happy a couple as they try to portray, you know, keeping up appearances and all that, doing the business, going about the business focused, going on trips even for their vlogs. But what's the real story going on between those two? What's going on right now? What's going on between those two? Okay, start counting. 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Certainly wasn't expecting that card to come out. Okay. Let's go card for Judgment in reverse. Actually, when I think about it, yeah, okay. Judgment in reverse. We'll start counting. What's this Judgment in reverse about? Is it really him ignoring the call of the universe, or is he self-loathing and punishing himself? What's this all about, this Judgment in reverse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then this one down here. Is it about creative blocks, or is it more about insecurity and disappointment about what's going on in his life right now? What's this reversed Page of Cups about? Or what's he being emotionally immature about? One, 2, come on, little deck. 3, oh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Interesting. Alright, so for the Knight of Swords, the card that we got about the possibility of there being a cold vibe between them, we got Sun. Now, usually, Usually the Sun card points to positive, happiness, success, etc. But it can also mean like shining the light on something, which that was the vibe I got when when I started looking at it, and I thought, oh, maybe they were happy to be constantly in conflict or something like that. But then, when I realized, oh, but hang on, there's other meanings, which, could be shining the light on the matter. So there could be some beef between them because they are starting to see the light, for example. Could be like that. The Judgment in reverse, we got mice. Self-doubt, lack of self-awareness, inner critic, self-loathing, punishment, destruction, ignoring the call, mice. First thing that comes to mind is the fact that he's losing a lot of... Well, no. I would just say in a nutshell, he is... he's having to make a lot of sacrifices for this connection. He's losing a lot of fans. He's possibly losing business opportunities. He's getting some, yes, but he's possibly losing some as well. He could be losing himself, in fact. This mice could be like gnawing inside his own mind. It could be the gnawing, self-loathing, punishing thoughts in his mind. It could be why this mice card came up. And then the Page of Cups in reverse, we have fish, which of course, money, what you value in life, abundance, business. But it can also interestingly, it can also mean emotions flowing. So for this card with the emotional immaturity factor, this could just mean that he's really emotional right now. That's what this fish could mean. It could mean that he has an abundance of emotions right now, and they're not necessarily good ones. He could be in a sad, dark place right now. In reality, he may not show it, but in here it could be all. It could be. If you look at like the fish jumping out of the water, it could be like all these thoughts just jumping out at him without a warning, and making him feel sad, making him feel depressed, making him feel angry even. It could be all sorts of things. He could be all over the place. His emotions could be all over the place right now, but there's a lot of them, and that could be what this card is pointing to. Of course, it could also mean money, and it could be like his creative blocks. He's having a creative block about how to make more money, or how to go about his business or his career. It could be something like that as well. But I get more emotions in this case. Because of that emotional immaturity on the tarot card, I get more emotions. So yeah, right now, it looks like there really is trouble in paradise. And it's mostly because of Mew. It's because of the state Mew is in. He could be emotionally, unavailable right now for Tul, which could be making him feel a certain way, which could be causing the cold vibe between them. Could be many things like that. If you like, we could... In fact, let's do that. Let's be fair. He's part of it all too, and whether he's an innocent party or, he's more the deceptive or, ringmaster of the whole thing, he's still part of it. So let's see. How is Tul Pakorn feeling about Mew's state right now? What's going on? How is Tul Pakorn feeling about it all right now? Does he still think he's winning? Does he still think he's in the best position? Or is he starting to doubt and worry with the current state Mew's emotions are in right now? Is he possibly even feeling Mew slipping through his fingers, so to speak? So what is Tul's current feelings towards Mew? Let's just put it like that. What are Tul's current feelings towards Mew? One, two, three, four, five. Whoop. Too many cards. I didn't see any of them, by the way. 6, 7, 8. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So the card, did you see that? I don't know. You saw it, didn't you? Okay, let's pull it out. Hang on. Wait a sec. Pull it out. Don't pull it out. Okay, there we go. Right. I was about to pull it out the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Alright, so I pulled that one out because I think you saw the bottom card. Felt right to pull it out. So we've got 2 cards here. The first one that came out was the 9 of Wands in reverse, which is inner resources, struggle, overwhelmed, on edge, defensive, paranoia, exhaustion, fatigue, lack of motivation. Wow, for such a card to come out with the question I asked, like, what are the odds? Anyway, and not just that, but this card is a Sagittarius card, which happens to be Gulf's western sign. Whether that means anything or not, I just, thought I'd point that out, if you can see it there. So it could be like, if you remember the 9 card box reading I did about how Tul was feeling about Gulf, this defensive, paranoia, exhaustion, fatigue, lack of motivation, overwhelmed, on edge, etc., could be about Gulf. In regards to Mew, of course. So it could be, like I said, it could be that he sees what's happening. He sees that Mew has perhaps seen the light and is moving back towards Gulf. Possibly. Like, in the sense that he's emotionally unavailable to Tul right now, or something like that. And then the second card that came out was the Ace of Cups in reverse. Both reverse, these cards. So the Ace of Cups in reverse came out. The way I was about to pull it out was upright. But then I realized the way I was holding the cards, this was in reverse. Anyway, the Ace of Cups reversed is emotional loss, blocked creativity, similar to Mew, emptiness, self-love, intuition, repressed emotions. sort of, yeah, leading on from the other card, there's definitely something, like I just said, how maybe possibly Mew is emotionally unavailable right now. Would be an emotional loss. Blocked creativity because Mew may not be in the mood. Emptiness, self-love, intuition that this isn't supposed to be the way it is, possibly. And like, you know, the spirit and the incense burner cards that were in the reading I did about how Tul was feeling about Gulf. And repressed emotions. Well, repressed emotions because if Mew is really emotionally unavailable right now, then Tul is having to hold it all back, right? Interesting. Shall I pull one more since I did 3 for Mew? Let's do one more. Since I did, the third card was focused on Mew's supposed depressed state. Let's do that for this as well. So let's say, how is Tul feeling right now about Mew's emotional state? Is he aware? Is he trying to ignore it? Is he trying to remain optimistic? Or is he worried for Mew and his well-being? How is Tul's feelings about Mew towards his emotional state right now? Oh, that popped out really fast. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the card that came out was the Hermit in reverse. Funny, they're all reversed. Yeah, no, they're not reversed. Okay, so the Hermit. You guys saw me, right? I did it all, made sure they were all in the right way. Anyway, the Hermit reversed. Isolation, loneliness, withdrawal, resignation, distance, lost your way. That's really, and you know what else? Let me just interesting. Just wanted to see. Yeah, just wanted to see something for a minute there, guys. Sorry, I was just thinking something. Yeah, so the Hermit reverse, isolation, loneliness, withdrawal, resignation, distance, lost your way. And the interesting thing is this card is the Virgo card. See the sign, Virgo, and it also has it written there. Don't know if you can see that. So, yeah, I was going to say that he was thinking this was how Mew was feeling, lost his way, etc. But this could be about him because of that, because it's the Virgo card. It could be that he is feeling isolated, lonely. He's starting to withdraw and resign from the idea of being with Mew, possibly. Or maybe the question was about his well-being, wasn't it? So maybe, like I said, ignoring. He could just be ignoring that and hoping that it will pass, and, you know, sort of withdrawing himself from that side of things, distancing himself from that side of things, and possibly losing his own way as a result. Could be. Yeah. Let's just say, I don't know why, but because it came out in reverse, but for some reason I want to look at it upright. The Hermit upright is soul-searching, introspection, contemplation, wisdom, truth-seeking, being alone, independence, inner guidance, meditation, and consciousness. I feel like even if that had come out upright, it's still got that feeling of like he's stepping away. Like he's giving Mew space. If Mew is really going into that depressed state, he's giving him space. He's stepping away. He's withdrawing. He doesn't want to be involved with that part of things. That's the vibe I'm getting, whether it came out upside down or not. So I just thought I'd say that. Also, this Ace of Cups in reverse, let's say that came out upright. Compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, marriage. If that had come out upright, still with these two cards reversed, then it would possibly be leaning towards him rethinking about this relationship. So, yeah. I don't know why, I just have this nagging feeling, because I spent so much time putting these cards the right way before we started, and then, you know, they all came out in reverse. I'm just like, maybe I should just cover all the other possibilities if these cards were meant to come out the other way or something. But yeah, even if they had come out the other way, it's still, like, even this one. So I did, let's do them all, hey? I did the Hermit and I did the Ace of Cups. Even if the Nine of Wands had come out the other way, also not really a positive card. Courage, persistence, test of faith, resilience, boundaries, last stand, gearing up for worst, pessimism, and weary. So, still not really the best attitude for a loving relationship, is it? Like gearing up for battle, sort of, I get the vibe. Test of faith, resilience, boundaries, last stand. Last stand doesn't sound like it's going to last. Like it's for life. Gearing up for the worst. What's the worst? The relationship ending. Pessimism, weary. Yeah, it just, no matter how you read these cards, there's certainly trouble in paradise, just based on these cards. Anyway, like I said, they came out in reverse. Now let's do the clarifiers here as well. Get a bit more of a picture of what these cards are about. So whether they were meant to come out reversed or upright, what is this Nine of Wands about, please? How is Tul feeling about Mew right now? Is he really starting to feel exhausted and fatigued? Is he losing the motivation to fight for them? Is he struggling? Is he overwhelmed? What's going on? Oh, that one flipped. Okay, so we got Dog, which is loyalty. This other one, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups in reverse. What's this Ace of Cups in reverse about? Is Mew really emotionally unavailable to Tul right now, which is causing him to repress his emotions? What's this emotional loss mentioned? What's this all about? Ace of Cups in reverse. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, oh God, no. I'll do that again, guys. I was just in auto mode there. I just went 9, didn't I? Let's do that again. 1. Sorry, deck. 2, 3, 4. Sorry, little deck. 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. All right, now pull the card. Okay, so that's Bear. And what about this Hermit? What's this Hermit about? Is he really resigning and trying to distance himself from Mew about his current emotional state? Is he trying to give Mew space? Or he just doesn't want to know the truth about what Mew is feeling? What's going on with this Hermit in reverse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Wow. Wow, you know what card came out for that one? Spirit. Remember, guys, when the Spirit comes out, there's something to really pay attention to. So, wow, okay. So, for the Nine of Wands in reverse, we got Dog. Now, Dog can be loyalty, friend. In this case, I would think, because we were talking about how this card also happens to be Sagittarius, how it could be Tul's current feelings about the possibility of Mew returning to Gulf. Loyalty. It could be that this card is talking about Mew's loyalty to Gulf, possibly. Or if it is talking about Tul, then it would be about his loyalty to Mew, first and foremost as a friend, I would say. And then Ace of Cups in reverse, we got Bear. Emotional loss, blocked creativity, emptiness, self-love, intuition, repressed emotions. Bear. Bear can mean protection, strength. It can mean overbearing as well. In this case with repressed emotions, I would say strength. I would say it's talking about strength, and it's talking about the loss of strength. The loss of emotional strength. The loss of creativity. Emptiness, so... yeah, this could even be about Tul protecting himself by repressing his emotions. Could be. And then we have Spirit. So for the card about how he's feeling about Mew and his current state, we were talking about, you know, if he's ignoring it or he's trying to distance himself from it, trying to give Mew space, trying to withdraw from that part of things. Feeling isolated and lonely while Mew is emotionally unavailable, possibly. Spirit card. Spirit card. So, yeah. It could be that Tul knows that the state Mew is in is because of the situation alone, and it could be because he knows that he's repressing his real feelings. It could be the fate destiny side of things as well. It could be that he knows that this is not what Mew was meant to have in store for him, that he's interfered with fate and destiny. Or it could just be that he doesn't want to know the truth, because the Spirit card can often point to the truth, you know. The third chakra, for example, what the eyes cannot see. So it could just be that Tul is trying to distance himself from Mew in the case of what his current emotional well-being is, because he's protecting himself from the harsh truth of why Mew is that way right now, possibly. And if this card is, you know, as I said, the card before, Sagittarius, if this card is about Gulf, then that's it. Mew is loyal to Gulf. Mew's heart is still with Gulf, which is why he is so unhappy and depressed right now, despite everything, why Tul is having to protect himself from the truth. Possibly. That's one possibility. That's the one that stands out to me. But as I said, this could also be that he's first and foremost loyal to their friendship, because everything started with their friendship. This is Tul I'm talking about. And that he has lost the strength to fight currently with Mew in the state he is in. And this could even be pointing to the fact that Tul doesn't know or isn't fully aware of why Mew is in the state he is in. Because if you think about it, if Mew is deceiving himself about how he feels, and Tul is an innocent party in it all, then yeah, this could be the unknown. Tul doesn't know the truth behind why Mew is in the state he is in, possibly. And maybe Mew has, emotionally made himself unavailable in the sense that he won't even discuss it. Maybe Mew makes excuse after excuse saying, oh, I'm just tired, oh, this, oh, that. Maybe he hasn't really been honest about his current feelings right now. Okay, so is everybody satisfied with that? Can we move on to happier possible readings now? Weren't they with their friends today? Do MG talk with each other? Well, it depends. Talk with each other, maybe. Communicate, definitely. Depends what you call communicating. Okay. Yes, please. Yes. Okay. So let's move on to. Oh, actually, guys, I said I was gonna use my new deck, didn't I? So let's do the. Oh, somebody woke up. Let's do the clarifiers with the oracle cards for these two first, just to see what comes up in my new deck. I'm curious what will come out with the new deck. So let's go and see, shall we? Okay, so guys, look, see, still all packaged up. So let's see what these cards have in store for us. Because they're oracle cards, I don't think it matters that they haven't been shuffled yet, because there's no real pattern or order for these cards to go in, unlike the Tarot and the Lenormand. So I can't even open them. So we'll just see what comes out raw. We'll call that fate. The first draw of these cards, what comes out. And I did buy these cards with this couple in mind, because it just didn't feel right to use that other deck for those two. So there's 54 cards in this deck. Also, it's based around, it's called Island Time Wellness, so I thought it's based around traveling to heal, which is something I really think is happening with Mew in his life right now, and possibly is the prime reason that they go on their trips. So let's, of course I'll do a little bit of a shuffle, but I haven't thoroughly shuffled. So let's do this. So let's start with, how is Mew feeling towards Tul right now? How is Mew Suppasit feeling towards Tul Pakorn right now? And hi there. Hi, little deck. First time in my hands. You're very nice and comfortable, nice and small. Handy. easy to handle. So how is Mew Suppasit feeling about Tul Pakorn right now? Alright, I'm going to start counting because we don't want to take forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's have a look. We'll just pull one card. Wow, okay. So the first card we got was the Sword and Rose. It says clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, power. That's interesting. That's interesting. So that could be Mew is starting to see the light, like we said in the other reading. He's starting to see the light, the truth. He's getting clarity on the matter between him and Tul. And I mean, just the rose and the sword. What does that make you think? Rose means love, right? But the sword means it could be a two-edged sword. It's love hurts. In other words, I think that's what comes to my mind anyway. But it could also be protection, like he wants to protect Tul as a friend, perhaps. Let's get another card, I think. Hello there. Okay, let's get another card. How is Mew feeling about Tul right now with this clarity and truth?
Are you cards?
Yes, I'm playing with my cards, that's right.
And what you doing then?
I'm doing a reading. Okay.
And what's Mew's name?
Mew's name is Mew.
And what is Gulf's?
Gulf's name is Gulf, but we're not talking about Gulf right now.
And what is Gulf's?
Hmm?
And what is Mew's?
Yes, okay. Can you go and enjoy MEWGULF in the other room for a second?
I know. And what is your box?
Okay, come on. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How is me feeling about Tul? 7, 8. Okay. So the other card we got is Hand of Cards, which gamble, basically. Take a chance, risk, being strategic. Being strategic comes to mind with the fox coming up in so many readings in the past. Options, not showing hand, and gambling. So Mew could be he's seen the light with this card, but he's holding back. You know, he's not making any quick moves just yet. He's not showing his hand, as it says, and being strategic about his next move. And we'll still do the other one because this deck is this deck is pretty all round good for everyone. So
Do another card.
yes, more cards. We'll pull these cards. Goodness. Let's get some more. Some more information about the Sword and Rose, I was going to say.
What's one little card? When your card dropped it. When your little card dropped it. When your little card dropped it.
Interesting. Okay. The card that came out for this one was Have My Kids. Something I'm thinking the clarity and truth, or the revelation that Mew is thinking about Tul right now, is that this isn't going to happen. That's what I'm thinking. I think he really wants this, but he knows that Tul is not prepared to do that anytime soon. I think that's kind of what it means. And let's go for what's this House of Cards about. Now remember, that card came out without me really even asking properly, so I might pull another clarifier for that card as well in a minute.
Mommy.
But let's do the Hand of Cards first.
Mommy.
So what's this? Yes?
Mommy, what you doing?
I told you I'm doing a reading. What's this not showing hand about? What's this being strategic about? Is it about moving on? Or is it about just not sharing his true emotional feelings right now? What's it about? Could even be like in the sense of not wanting to make Tul worry. Something like that. So what's this card about? Start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Whoa. Okay. See, this makes me think even more that I was right about this one, because the card that came out for Hand of Cards is Let Me Go. Let me go. You deserve all the good things in this world, and right now I am not in a space to give you the type of connection you deserve. Live your life and let me go. Wow, the odds of that coming out. Okay, so there you have it. So it's possible that Mew has seen the light, or he's gained clarity and truth on the matter of him and Tul. He really wants this, but they don't agree on it, and because it's so important to him, he's being strategic about let me go. That's how it looks. That's how it looks. That's the cards, not me. That's the cards. So, and just the fact that let me go, it says I'm not in a space. I am not in a space to give you the type of connection you deserve, because he's not in a good space right now. That's what we said, isn't it? He's really not in a good space right now. So, yeah, that's, wow. That's pretty accurate, I think. All right, enough about them now. Let's move on. Let's move on. Anyway, this deck, I'm happy with it so far.
More cards.
More cards, that's right. Okay, let's put these cards away.
More cards.
More cards. You're really getting into it, aren't you, huh?
I mean, put these cards away. Put these cards away.
You might become my little helper soon.
I'm not going to bed.
No, you just got out of bed, didn't you? Alright, moving on to MEWGULF now. Let's do a happy pickup for the end of this live for what state MEWGULF are in right now. So, here we go. How is Mew feeling towards Gulf right now? How is Mew Suppasit feeling towards Gulf Kanawut right now? Now, I said that like we're expecting happy cards. I should just remind you, never expect, because it could be different. Let's just see what the cards say. All right, how is Mew feeling? Whoop! Oh dear, hang on.
Oh dear.
You are my little helper, aren't you? Okay, so that one came out.
And then, what is your one card?
Okay, so that's one. Let's get another two. How you picked that up?
Oh, I have to pick the blanket up.
Okay, how is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut right now? How is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut right now? Shall I start counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Red, ga, 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 ga.
7,
Goo, 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 ga, 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 ga.
8. Okay.
Goo, 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 ga, 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 ga. Goo, 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 ga, ga,
okay.
ga, ga.
And I think I want
Goo, 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 ga, ga,
one more.
ga,
I
ga,
want one more.
ga.
Before I share it with you guys, I need a clarifier for that card my daughter sort of helped me reveal there.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's the right way up, but yeah, let's get a clarifier for what is this Three of Pentacles in reverse about, please? What is this Three of Pentacles in reverse about? How is Mew Suppasit feeling about Gulf Kanawut right now, please?
I'm not watching movie, everyone.
Okay. 1,
We're not watching movie anymore.
2,
I had to
3,
watch some movie.
4,
Some movie.
5. Can you go be with Dad, please?
No.
6.
Yeah.
Okay, card came out. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so the cards that came out. The first one, like I said, that my daughter helped me with, the Third of Pentacles in reverse. Disharmony, misalignment, working alone, lack of teamwork, disorganized group conflict. Doesn't sound good, does it? But the other two cards that I have here might change that. So the second card we have is Seven of Cups upright, which happens to be a Scorpio card. Look. So yep, this is definitely about golf, and Mew is thinking about golf. Opportunities, wishful thinking, choices, illusion, searching for purpose, daydreaming. So there's that. Can you please go back, be with Dad, please? Go on, go. Just let me go back to this card, the one I said didn't sound good. This is an Earth card. This is an Earth card, so this could also be what he's thinking about him and Tul, actually. And then the third card I pulled out, which was to sort of clarify that card, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting again. This card is water and earth. Water and earth. So it's an earth card and a water card, and the hang on a sec. Yeah, the two signs that it goes with. because water and earth, obviously it also has fire in there because it happens to be affiliated with Sagittarius. So, there, yeah. This card says nurturing, practical, providing financially, and a working parent.
And what is mommy is? And what is
So,
working?
yes, can you please go and be with Dad, please?
And that's yellow one.
If you didn't talk so much, it would be fine, but you really are causing havoc for me now. So this disharmony, misalignment, lack of teamwork, disorganized group conflict, particularly the group conflict, and then because I pulled this card for clarification, which talks about nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent, this makes me wonder again about the family matter. You know, maybe him reuniting with Gulf will be a little bit challenging with the parents in mind. Maybe Gulf's parents, not so much Mew's parents because they loved Gulf, but more so Gulf's parents. Maybe they're not going to be so quick to open their arms to Mew again after what's happened, perhaps. I mean, I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know about the real connection and love between them, but I'm sure, you know, they're probably really going to test him, you know, make sure that this is not just a repeat of the past and that he means it this time, sort of thing, before they let him have his way with Gulf or whatever. Or it could also be because it says working parent, this could also be Mew, like, considering all his options, like, because of those the oracle cards that came out for him of how he was thinking about Tul right now. Seems like one of the biggest things on his mind right now is starting a family, and I'm more than certain it's because of baby Nini. You know, his own sister has already had a child, so he's going to be feeling, you know, he's going to be feeling towards that matter like he wants one too. He wants to be a dad. He wants to have a family of his own. We all know it's been an important thing to him all along. He's always loved kids. He spoke about it so fondly when he was talking about the possibility of having kids with Gulf. And then, you know, that sad aura when he was in that... Yeah, leave that alone, please. When he was in the interview that time and he said that his fiancée didn't want kids, he had just the saddest... Yes, it's Mickey Mouse. Okay, come on. I don't need this anymore. Come on, here. Come on. Come down here and you do. Go on. Go. It just had the saddest undertone when he said that about his partner wasn't ready to have kids. And that could have been Tul or Gulf at the time, mind you, because, you know, Gulf was not ready to have kids at that moment either. He was very busy. Alright, sorry guys. Yeah, so this could all be about having a family in Gulf's mind, in Mew's mind. And this could be about, because it says working parent and lack of teamwork, this could be about Gulf still not being ready either, because he's very thick in his career right now, you know, going overseas to do shows, and so yeah, it could be about that too. It could just be that because Gulf isn't completely ready yet, so he's thinking of all the options. But it's possible, and I think everybody knows this, like the way we've seen Gulf being with kids, that Gulf is probably the better candidate for being a parent sooner with Mew. That's what it feels like. And this other card, opportunities, wishful thinking, choices, illusions, searching for purpose, daydreaming, definitely, because it is about Gulf, the Scorpio Scorpio is on this card. So definitely he's thinking. He's thinking about all his options, how he could make his dreams come true, and how he could do this all with golf. I reckon that's pretty much it. Because this is how Mew is feeling about golf currently, after all. So yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's all about he's considering the future. He's considering the future with golf. How it would all come about, if it would be possible. If he did give up everything he has right now for golf, would he really get what he's after, which in this case I think is a family of his own. You know, he's thinking, would it really happen? I think it's more that than the parents are against it somehow. Anyway,
Where's the penguin?
Let's get some clarifiers for that
Where's the mouse?
to shed some more info on that. So this disharmony, misalignment, working alone, is this about, that was about to come out, I'm going to take that. And yes, it is. Okay. And what about this Seven of Cups? He's thinking about golf, he's wishing, he's hoping, he's dreaming. It agrees with so many other readings we've had. Is it about having a family, or is it something else? One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Interesting. 2 cards came out for that. 2 cards came out for that, and you know what? Never mind. I'll explain later. I don't even know what this card is yet. Alright, and what about for Queen of Pentacles? What is this Queen of Pentacles about? Is this about how nurturing and a good parent golf would be? Okay, I'll take that. Right, now. Oh. So, what was this card? The Moon. Okay, so disharmony, misalignment, working alone, lack of teamwork, disorganized group conflict.
What is the moon? What is the moon?
The moon is here. It's a card.
That's the moon.
So this could be the moon. The moon card can be about inner emotions, but it can also be about reputation. In this case, I think it might be about reputation. I think the misalignment, working alone, lack of teamwork, group conflict. This could be about how they look misaligned in the public eye right now. That could be what this card is even about, possibly. It could also be, if it's all about the kids, as I said, the theme of having a family of their own, it could be how he might be thinking about how it's going to affect their reputation, both him and golf, possibly. Then the interesting one where 2 cards came out, so Seven of Cups, the one with opportunities, wishful thinking, choices, searching for purpose, daydreaming. 2 cards came out, Stork and Man. Stork and Man. So this really is the Stork is a movement card. So this really means that he's not just thinking about these choices, he is going to make a decision soon and act on these choices. Because him, as in Mew, the man, or possibly this man, because this is Mew thinking about golf, this could be, I wouldn't say it's golf, because we really do think golf is more like the feminine in the relationship, and I'm not using 2 men cards, so definitely I think this card is either Mew or it could be Tul. This could be about moving on from Tul as well, possibly. And then for the Queen of Pentacles, the nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent. Remember, this is all about how he's feeling about golf right now, currently. This card came out in for clarification on this one, about the disharmony, misalignment, etc. Then we got this card for possibly about what their reputation will be like, how it will be affected if they were to reunite as a couple and have a family, etc. And the card that came out for Queen of Pentacles was Heart. I don't think you can get any more straightforward than that. Heart coming out. So it's a matter of the heart. It's a matter of the heart. And if I was right about the theme of having kids, then definitely he's thinking that it would be good, because he's seen recently how good golf is with kids, and he's just imagining, like with this card, he's imagining and daydreaming about having kids with golf again. Like, can you remember, like, how we didn't start that surrogacy and imaginary idea of him having kids with golf? He started it, and he was very enthusiastic about it back in the day. He wanted it from the start. He wanted to be a parent from the start, and he wanted it with golf so much that he would start talking about the possibility of surrogacy. Oh, sure, he talked about it with Tul too now, but he did it with golf first. And yeah, I mean, okay, Tul can be good with kids too, but he doesn't show it half as much as golf has done. So, and you can just tell with golf, he has this motherly instinct. He has this nurturing, practical, providing nature to him, and he happens to work as well. So this card really fits golf for being a working parent. It's like, it's possibly even that Mew thinks that golf could handle working and being a parent at the same time more than Tul could. Could even be something like that, because if you think about it, how busy is golf, but he still puts time aside for his cats, which, you know, the same idea. They're his fur babies. If he had a real human child baby, he'd do the same. He'd probably do it even more. He would put time aside for what really matters. He would put time aside to spend time with his children. So yeah, it could be Mew seeing the light on the matter of him and Tul, that, yeah, okay, it's been great, they've had a great adventure traveling the world together, etc. But when it comes down to, you know, the serious matter of living together forever, having children, having a family, living in a house, who's the better candidate? Who would he get more peace from? Who would he get more harmony from? And I think the answer is golf. So yeah, that's just me though. That's how I'm reading these cards. In contrast, now, before we move on, let me just remind you guys that it's possible that golf doesn't even know that this is how Mew is feeling and what Mew's thinking right now. So even though we got like a really interesting reading here with how Mew's feeling about golf, how he's really determined to make a move, to do something about the matter, we don't know if golf knows. We don't know if golf is aware of all this as well. We don't know if they talk in private or if their only communication right now is, like I said, through that windy snake, like the codes, the coincidences that we see online. We don't know. So don't expect anything. Don't expect golf to have an amazing matching reading or anything. If it happens, great, but if it doesn't, you know. Alright, so let's move on to golf then. Now I'm going to, like I did last time, I'm going to use the other deck for golf, the Van Gogh deck for golf. Let's see Let's ask this little deck how Gulf is currently feeling about Mew. I think you're spot on. Thanks, Cynthia. Okay, so here we go. Hang on, let me just check. Make sure they're all upright first. Better. Thought I did this before I put them away last time, but there was a few there that were reversed. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go. So, how is Gulf Kanawut currently feeling about Mew Suppasit? What are Gulf Kanawut's current feelings towards Mew Suppasit? Please tell us, little deck, how is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit right now? Wouldn't be surprised if he's worried with the way Mew looks lately. But how is he really feeling? I noticed that video that showed Gulf out with his mum, that fans happened to walk past or whatever. He didn't look that happy, did he? He really looked like he was playing the role of Artite. He looked like he had to smile because the camera was put on him, but he wasn't in the mood at all. He looked very very sad. And since he was with his mum, maybe he was having a counselling sort of session with his mum. Maybe he was really talking to his mum about things and, something serious, Whoop. I was talking about him and his mum, wasn't I? Never mind. Two of Pentacles, and what else? Come on, two more cards, please. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit? Two more cards, please, little deck. Two more cards. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, 2. Great. Okay. There we go. We got the cards. Now, I've been focusing more on Lenormand lately, so I am definitely going to need the book to tell you the meanings of these cards. Really, I should have just used the other deck, but I have this thing that I just really have to use the Van Gogh deck for Gulf recently. Okay, let's see. Two of Pentacles. This was the first one that came out. Remember, I was talking about his mum at the time, though, so whatever this says may not be exactly. Two of Pentacles, of course. This picture didn't make me think of that. Two of Pentacles. So if you're familiar with the usual picture, it's like juggling two coins. I do not get that from this image. I really don't, but anyway. So Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles symbolizes the dynamic balance of managing multiple priorities. It highlights adaptability and the need for effective time management to navigate through balancing decisions and responsibilities. Okay, so this is about how Gulf is feeling about Mew. So it's a juggle. Like I said, it's a juggle. balancing priorities, etc. But we need more. We need more than just that card to know what the story is. So let's go Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords upright. The Ace of Swords heralds a period of significant mental clarity and breakthrough. It signifies the emergence of new ideas, symbolizing success and a sharp mind, ready to tackle conflicts or even the need for surgical precision in one's life. Interesting. Interesting, because remember the two readings we just did had a scythe, which sharp, surgical precision. Yeah, this Ace of Swords could be the tarot card for the scythe, possibly. So, sharp decisions coming up, juggling things in life, and sharp decisions coming up, possibly having to cut things and people out of their life. And Nine of Wands. What's Nine of Wands? Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands was, that was the card Tul had in reverse. And we said it could have been what he was feeling about Gulf, didn't we, guys? Well, this Nine of Wands has come out upright. And it says, the Nine of Wands embodies the spirit of resilience and perseverance. It represents a test of faith, urging courage and persistence in the face of adversity. This card signals a moment to stand firm despite challenges and weariness. That's really crazy. So Tul got it upside down, and it was possibly about Gulf, because the card, if I remember, it doesn't have the picture on here fully, but if I remember, it was a Sagittarius, wasn't it? The Sagittarius was on the card. So, yeah, we thought it could be about Gulf. Could be about it was about the loyalty, wasn't it? It was about possible loyalty Mew had for Gulf. Let me just read the reverse meaning here for you guys. Reverse the Nine of Wands indicates feelings of being overwhelmed and on edge. It suggests exhaustion and fatigue, pointing to a need to tap into inner resources without succumbing to defensiveness or a lack of motivation. So that's how Tul was feeling about Mew. And then now we get Nine of Wands upright for how Gulf is feeling about Mew. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so let's get some clarifiers on these cards, just to get a bit more of an idea. So what is this Two of Pentacles about for Gulf right now? So this is how he's feeling about Mew, remember? So yeah. So what is Gulf thinking about Mew? What is he thinking he has to juggle regarding Mew? What does Gulf have to juggle regarding Mew? Really love it if these cards could fall out. I feel like I've been having to do the count a lot today. Oh, okay, I'll take that. Fish. And what about this Ace of Swords? Is it really about the scythe? Is it really about cutting people or something out? I'll wait till I get the other one before I reveal that. Nine of Wands. What's the Nine of Wands about? The interesting connection that Tul got the same card in reverse. What's this about? What's this card about? Oh, guys, I got three cards here. I only saw one, but there's three here. Should I take them? 3 cards for one. Let's take them. I think 3 is the limit, right? If it were any more than 3 cards, I wouldn't. But since it's 3 cards, we'll take it. So, okay. Okay. Okay, and what was the middle one? Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, right. Well, no matter what Mew's thinking, I would say Gulf is still thinking, what do you say? I think Gulf is still thinking, like he's letting himself wish, but he's also resigned himself to the reality of what seems to be happening. I think if they're not talking especially, then he's really none the wiser of what's really happening behind closed doors. Yeah, the Two of Pentacles, for that one we got fish. Fish, so juggling. Gulf thinks Mew has to juggle, or he has to juggle. I would say work with fish. Have to juggle work. Work and possibly money matters. More on Mew's side, that would be, I reckon. As for the Ace of Swords, for the idea that it was the scythe and everything, well, we got the Man card. Which, in this case, yeah, I think basically it's just confirming what we got in the other reading, that this scythe or Ace of Swords card is about cutting something or someone out of his life. It's either Mew himself or it's about Mew. He's got to make these sharp decisions or do this cleansing of his life for the possibility of being with Mew. One or the other. And then this card, Nine of Wands, the one that Tul got in reverse and that Gulf has got upright. For that card we got these 3 cards. Now, stand firm. Standing firm, definitely the tree fits. We got the tree. The other 2 cards is clouds and ship. So clouds and ship could be... Clouds is usually about confusion or uncertainty. And trip can be travel itself. Or in this case, I think it might even be like drifting in a certain direction. Drifting in the right direction even. So for these 3 cards together, I would say he's standing firm about his connection with Mew, whether that be platonic or otherwise. You know, he has a lot of faith in the strength of their connection. But while he has that, he's also got a lot of uncertainty and confusion about what their connection actually is, maybe. Especially, like, this really plays into the other readings I have of not being sure in which direction they're going, or of remember before about the man, mice, stars. So we said the mice could be lack of clarity. Once Mew approaches Gulf, it could be he starts having lack of clarity of where they actually stand. This could be the clouds. And then ship. So this could play into the idea that, again, it's possible that Mew is coming to Gulf with a proposal of some kind, either a business proposal or a friendship proposal or a proposal to talk again on social media, like to act more openly in public again. It could be anything, but it does seem that way. It seems like it's something like that. And then it could be Gulf drifting in the right direction as a result. And because this is about how he feels towards Mew especially, so trip with Mew, journey with Mew, something. Trip with Mew, journey with Mew. Could be metaphorical or physical. Could even be the start. Could be the new start of their relationship. Could be anything there. Okay, so that's what we have for them, and then we'll finish. I'm being beckoned here. I'm being beckoned here to kind of hurry up. So let's finish it like we always do with the oracle cards, the ones that get us all nice and cozy feeling most of the time. All right. Okay, so for these cards, and remember guys, there's 8 blanks in this deck, so if they're not thinking at all about the other person, it's possible a blank could come out. So let's go. How is Mew Suppasit currently feeling about golf today? How is Mew Suppasit currently feeling about golf today? Come on, deck, please. Just make a card drop, please. I don't want to count again. How is Mew Suppasit currently feeling about golf? One. Whoa. Oh, oh. Okay, that's 2 there. Oh. Okay, make that 3 then. Alright, I think 3's enough. Wow, these are strong cards already. And what's the 3rd one? Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. These cards never fail to amaze me. Okay. So this is how Mew is feeling about golf, okay? First one is, I wanted to tell you many times already how much I missed you. He's been thinking about golf a lot, possibly thinking about him more than ever right now, about the possibility of what he could have with him if he decided to turn things around. Yeah, that's amazing. And then this one, I always knew there was something different about you. That's a nice card too. Definitely there's something different about him because he's the one. He's the twin flame of you. If that is what the case is, then of course you're going to feel the difference. And the 3rd one, I'm so proud of who you have become. Now that one really resonates. I think Mew definitely is proud of what golf has become. Especially in the music sense, you know, with how he's got his own singles. He's known as a musical artist now on his own. I think Mew is definitely very proud of his Yainong and how far he's come in life, definitely. So they definitely resonate, yes. Okay, but let's get some more info on these cards. Let's see. Let's get some details. Hang on. Like that. Okay. So let's get some more words about these cards, please. Wanted to tell you so many times already how much I missed you. You really miss him that much, Mew? No, it's really sad. It's really sad how you can't be with him for whatever reason. You shouldn't have to miss him like that. So what's this I really miss you thing about? I wanted to tell you so many times already how much I missed you. Why couldn't you, in fact? Why couldn't you tell him so many times already? What was stopping you, I wonder? Would these cards say anything? Probably not. Let's just say, what's this card about? What's this card about, Mew? What's this card about, please, little deck? What's this card about? to start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. No way! Oh my god! Okay. You guys can't see it, so I'll just... Let's get the other two. Okay, so what's this? I always knew there was something different about you. What's this one about, please? What was so different about Gulf, Mew? What was this thing you're saying was always knew there was something different about you? What was it exactly? Is it the intuition that you really do belong? Okay, that's a different card. Never had that one before. Okay, and what about I'm so proud of who you have become? What's the story behind that card? I think I might need to clarify for that middle one. But let's get this one first. I'm so proud of who you have become. What's this about? Whoa. No, not right. Yes, I know. Soon. I'm so proud of who you have become. What's this card about? Look. Okay. So, first up, I wanted to tell you so many times already how much I missed you. The card that came up was have my kids. Have my kids. That has come up twice already today. It's coming up again. And you guys know I don't fix these cards. And there's how many cards? 54 cards in this deck. Like the odds of this card continuously keeps coming out. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, that's definitely on his mind with Gulf, isn't it? That's the second time this card has come out in regards to Gulf. Definitely on his mind, and I bet you anything it's because of the latest footage we've seen of Gulf with kids. And also with Nini, baby Nini coming out. So it would be both of those things playing on his mind. Moving on, I always knew there was something different about you. This card's interesting. I've never seen this card before. This card has never come out before, but I always knew there was something different about you. Attached to my ex. I'm attached to my ex, emotionally, physically, and or spiritually. I need time and space to break this connection. In this case, I think his ex would be talking about, you know, not Gulf. I think he's obviously talking about, yeah, especially if it all, you know, comes to fruition about him walking away. So, okay, I'm attached to my ex, emotionally, physically, and or spiritually. I need time and space to break this connection. So he knew there was something different about Gulf. He's wanted to tell him how much he's missed him so many times already, but obviously with this card, he still needs time. He still needs time to sort out what's going on his end. And then this last card, I'm so proud of who you have become. Again, this card seems to also play off that card that I just said in that regard. Because it says need time to heal. Right now I'm in a space where I need to focus on my healing and self-love. This isn't about you, it's about me. In this sense with this card, this could also be talking about he's so proud of who Gulf has become because Gulf is independent. Gulf is able to look after himself. Gulf is I'm losing my words. Gulf is independent. That's it. He can look after himself. He doesn't need Mew. He doesn't need Mew. That's what I was about to say. So because he doesn't need Mew, but wants Mew in his life, and they want to reunite, especially if they're twin flames, because, you know, I've said it before, twin flames, they're not meant to be dependent on each other. They're meant to separate in order to grow as we go, in order to develop the independence they need to both be able to live without each other, in a sense, before they can reunite and become, you know, their full potential couple that they are meant to be. So, yeah, this really plays into that. Mew can see that Gulf is kind of already there. He's already become so independent, and, yeah, just so mature. He's matured a lot. But him, on the other hand, because of what's going on, what he's been through, what he's still going through, what he's handling right now with his emotional state, he still needs time to heal. So this isn't about you, it's about me. Definitely that makes me think about the fact that Mew could be on the brink of going into burnout again, and we all know that is the time that he started this thing with Tul, whatever it was in the beginning. So he knows more now than ever that it's not a safe time to be pursuing love life, pursuing relationships when he's not right up here, when he hasn't got a straight mind, when he's compromised. When he's emotionally compromised, emotionally unavailable, not a good time to sort things out. So, need time to heal, definitely resonates. Alright, and lastly, let's see what Gulf is feeling about Mew with these cards, and then I definitely have to go. I definitely have to go after this, because my husband is beckoning me for our morning workout session. So let's quickly do this. It's been a long time. This is probably the longest live I've done to date. Alright, let's go. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit right now? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit right now, today? How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit right now? Come on, cards, I really don't have all day. How is Gulf feeling about Mew Suppasit right now? Please, please, please. How is Gulf Kanawut feeling about Mew Suppasit right now? Gonna start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Wow, what a strong card. I know. I promise this is the last. Immediately. Yeah, one more card. One more card, please. One more card. Wait. No, that didn't fall. One more card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, okay. Yep, so the 3 cards we got for Gulf, looks like he is actually thinking about Mew the same way. The first one we got is, we are forever soul and heart connected. Very twin flame. Second one we got is, nothing really makes sense without you. So no matter how independent he is, and how he can manage without Mew in his life, he still feels like he he would have a better life with Mew in it, let's say. And the third card, I'm always with you in spirit. Wow. Wow. That's really like, yeah, twin flame. Feeling the same things, having that connection through the mind even. Like, yeah, wow, okay. And spirit. Spirit, the word spirit. We had the spirit card. Okay. And then let's get these last clarifiers, please. So we are forever soul and heart connected. Nothing really makes sense without you. I'm always with you in spirit. What else does Gulf feel about me right now today? What else is Gulf feeling towards me right now today? Yes, I'm coming. But how is Gulf feeling about me today right now? Let's go. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait. Didn't see it. 7, 8. Oh. Okay, look, 2 came out. I'll take those. Let me see if that was... Let me just go back and find that reversed one. Let's be quick. That one, okay. Okay, so the 3 cards that we have. You're my favorite. You're the person I want to call when something good or bad happens. The first thought when I have news to share. You're my person. So that's one of them. The second card.
Time for exercise.
Showing out. I'm acting like I don't care about what's happened between us, but I do. I just want to appear unbothered. That could be related to nothing really makes sense without you. Could also be we are forever soul and heart connected. In fact, it could be all 3 of them. Could be just like he said, he acts like he doesn't care. He's going on with his life, acting independent, etc. But he really does care. He really does care and wants to do something about it. And then the third card, mother wounds. My mother is a big influence on my behavior now as an adult. I have challenges with connecting to the divine feminine energy within me and externally. Now, I don't think he has trouble connecting to the divine feminine energy. I think this mother wounds card would be possibly more about his mum. Possibly. It would be more about... you remember I mentioned when he was with his mum and the fans caught them or saw them, and he wasn't looking happy, so he was possibly like in a serious discussion with his mother, possibly guidance, possibly just talking about something unpleasant. So for me, that sort of is why that card came out. I'm going to pull one more card though, because the way I pulled those cards was in like a rush of just taking what flipped but didn't fall. So I'll just do one more card to clarify that card before I go, and then I'll leave it, guys, because I really can't carry on anymore. Okay, well, the card that I just got there that flipped was You're My Soulmate. It must be written in the stars because you most definitely are my destiny. We belong together. Well, that's a pretty good card to get. But since I asked for a clarifier for the mother wounds, this could go into, again, the idea that perhaps Gulf's mum and dad, or even just mum, or even just dad, may not be entirely over the moon to welcome Mew back into the family, so to speak, after what's happened. Possibly. But Gulf has a strong belief and strong faith in their connection, being soulmates, being twin flames, being forever heart and soul connected, etc. So it's going to be like he'll fight for them, even if his mum and dad are a little bit, remember the whip in the reading about the possible family conflict for Gulf's reading. Seems like if it is the case that Gulf will still fight for his connection with Mew anyway. Alright, so even if that connection is just remaining friends, guys, that too, just putting that there. Alright, so that's it for today, guys. I've really outdone myself today. I think, what would have been 3 hours? I think, if nothing else, the readings today have just given us more reason to believe that there is hope. There is hope for something. There is hope for some kind of reunion with MEWGULF. And that's the best thing to just keep thinking. Nothing more, don't go too deep into it. Just think there's definitely going to be a reunion one day. So we'll keep thinking that one day. Stay positive about that. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.